Hey, welcome. Today we're going to crack the code on a part of English that will make you sound so much more natural. I'm talking about tag questions. You know those little mini questions we tack onto the end of sentences? The basic rule is pretty simple, but it's the exceptions. That's where the real magic happens. So are you ready? Let's unlock the secrets to sounding like a native speaker.
See? I just used one. That little "don't you" right there? That's a tag question. It's an absolutely brilliant tool we use in conversation all the time to check information or just to get someone to agree with us. And today, we're going to break down the most important rules, especially the tricky ones, so you can start using them with total confidence.
All right, so before we dive into all the weird and wonderful exceptions, let's just do a super quick review of the basic rule. Think of this as our foundation, right? Once you've got this down, you'll see exactly why the exceptions are so important and honestly kind of cool.
So, the main rule is all about balance. It's like a seesaw. If your main statement is positive, like you are happy, the tag question flips over to the negative side, aren't you? And you guessed it. If the statement is negative, like you aren't tired, the tag flips back to the positive, are you? Positive, negative, negative, positive. That's the core engine for almost every tag question you'll ever see. Simple enough, right?
Okay, so if the main rule is that easy, why are we here? Well, because knowing the exceptions is what takes your English from just good to truly great. This isn't about memorizing weird grammar rules. This is about learning the patterns that native speakers use without even thinking. This is your shortcut. This is the secret sauce to sounding more natural.
So, let's get into it. We're going to start with 3 of the most common exceptions out there. They might seem a little strange at first, but stick with me and you'll see they actually make a lot of sense. Let's tackle the first one. Okay, here's our first big one, and it is a bit weird. Logically, if you say I am, you'd think the tag should be amn't I, right? But we just don't say that in modern English. And the really formal version, am I not, sounds super stiff, like something from an old movie. So just to make conversation flow better, aren't I became the standard. It might look wrong on paper, but trust me, this is how it's done. Let's just hear how it sounds. Listen to the rhythm. I'm late, aren't I? Or how about, I'm next on the list, aren't I? See how that just flows? It's much smoother than the other options. This is one of those things you just have to practice until it feels totally natural.
Our second exception is for imperatives. Now that's just a fancy word for commands or instructions when you're telling someone to do something. A sentence like, close the window, isn't really positive or negative, so our seesaw rule doesn't work. We need a special tag. And for these, we use will you or won't you.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because your choice changes the feeling of the sentence. If you say, open the door, will you? That's a pretty standard neutral request. But if you say, have a seat, won't you? That sounds so much warmer, doesn't it? It feels more like a polite invitation. So that little choice of will or won't can change the entire tone.
You are going to love this next one because it's so easy. It's 100% consistent. Whenever you start a suggestion with let's, which of course is short for let us, the tag question is always, 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 shall we? It's a fixed phrase. No need to even think about it.
For instance, let's go for a walk, shall we? Or let's start the meeting, shall we? That shall we is the perfect, polite way to check if everyone agrees with a plan we're going to do together. It's very collaborative. Okay, this next part is really cool. We're going to look at sentences that look positive, but if you think about their meaning, they're actually negative. And that means they break our main rule. They take a positive tag. This might feel like a bit of a mind-bender at first, but it's all about pure logic.
Check this out. Words like never, hardly, nothing, and few all have a negative vibe, right? So a sentence like, you never told me actually means something negative, so it needs a positive tag. Did you? Same thing with nothing happened. That really means not anything happened, so the tag has to be positive. Did it? This is a huge takeaway. The tag follows the meaning of the sentence, not just whether the word not is in there.
All right, you are doing great. You've gotten through the major exceptions. Now, we're going to move on to some more advanced tricks, some pro-level stuff for handling tricky subjects and verbs. Getting these right is what will really make your English sound polished. So, what do you do when the subject isn't a simple you or he or she? What about words like everyone, somebody, or nobody? Well, modern English has this really elegant solution. We just use the pronoun they in the tag question. Let's see how it works. Everyone is here, aren't they? Even though everyone feels like a single group, we use they. Now look closely at the second one. Nobody called, did they? See what happened there? We've got two rules working together. Nobody is a negative word, so the tag is positive. Did they? And we're using they as the pronoun.
Let's talk about the past for a second. When we use that phrase used to, for a habit or a situation that's over now, you should think of it like any other simple past tense verb. And because of that, we need the helper verb did or didn't to make the tag question. You never repeat the word use in the tag. Here's a perfect example. You used to live in London. That's a statement about the past. So to check that information, the tag is simply didn't you? It's clean, it's simple, and it's absolutely the right way to handle this common phrase.
Now, here's a little bonus for you, one that's especially common in British English. When you use the phrase have got to say you own something, the word have is acting as the main helper verb, and that means have is the word you need to use in the tag question, not do.
So take a look. In Britain, you'll constantly hear, you've got a car, haven't you? Or, she's got two brothers, hasn't she? Now, in American English, you're more likely to hear, you have a car, don't you? Which is also correct. But this have got with a haven't tag is a real hallmark of British English. And there we go. Those are the 7 most important, most essential exceptions that you need to get the hang of. These are the ones you're going to hear out in the real world and the ones you're going to use the most. Let's do one final quick review just to lot them into your brain. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet. So let's run through it one last time. For I am, the tag is aren't I. For a command like help me, it's will you. For a suggestion with let's, it's always shall we. With negative words like nothing, you need a positive tag like did it. For subjects like nobody, you use did they. For past habits with used to, the tag is didn't you. And finally, for that British have got, you use haven't you. That's the whole shebang right there.
And really, the big thing to take away from all this is that learning these rules isn't just about passing a grammar quiz. It's about closing that gap between sounding like someone who is learning English and sounding like someone who really speaks English. It's these little details that make all the difference.
And look at that. We've come full circle. We started with a simple tag question, and we're ending with one of the special ones we just learned. After going through all of this, you can confidently answer, yes, you have. Now get out there and start using them.